We've got a 2008 Chevrolet. No, it's a Volkswagen. Volkswagen Jetta, and it's got a 2.5 liter 5-cylinder engine. Yes, it's a 2.5 liter 5-cylinder. And the customer's complaint, he has two complaints. The customer's complaint number one is that it dies sometimes. He'll be driving down the road and it'll just die. And his other complaint is
after fueling.
His other complaint is that after fueling, when he goes to restart it, it will start up and then die, and then sometimes he'll have trouble restarting it after that. That's a very common scenario, but we need to evaluate his other concern. I did take it for a road test. I could not duplicate his other concern. We're going to scan it for trouble codes, maybe make some checks on the dying after fueling problem. Obviously, that's usually an Evap problem. It's very common. Probably we wouldn't even have to do the diagnosing, just slap the part on it would fix it. But we want to be sure. So we'll scan the computer system and go from there. Okay, I have done an auto scan on this, and there are two faults found, one of which is 001109 or P0455, Evap system large leak detected. And the second one is 005784 or P1698. Please check DTC memory of steering wheel electronics. We'll just scroll down real quick and see what it says regarding the steering wheel electronics. Function limitation due to undervoltage. Cannot be tested at this time. I don't think that's a significant problem. Most likely the battery just went low at some point. We're going to ignore that for now and deal with the customer's complaints. Sometimes getting these engine covers off can be a real pain. If you're a little bit too aggressive with it, you can break them. A lot of times when these cars have a complaint of the engine dies after fueling, the Evap purge solenoid is stuck open. So we're just going to pull it off of here real quick and check to see if it's stuck open. Oh, this is very much stuck on there. Let me get some more tools. Okay, I'm going to run inside and start this up and see if it's passing vacuum all the time. I don't know how well you can hear that, but that is passing vacuum all the time. It's supposed to open up when it's turned on by the computer. I don't think it should be turned on right now, but we can try and run the output test to see if that'll turn it on and off. Okay, I don't know if this is one that will run with the engine running or not. Seems like it will. Oh, requirements for output test not met, so that means it won't. So we'll have to do this test while the engine's off. Okay, so in order to test this, we would want the output test to be turning it on and off at the wires, and we would want vacuum here coming from the engine in order to see whether it's flowing all the time, whether the computer is capable of turning the solenoid on and off, and whether or not this solenoid is capable of blocking the vacuum, if the solenoid works, in other words. The usual problem would be the solenoid is stuck open, passing vacuum all the time. And so in order to check for that, we will either need to hook up an auxiliary vacuum source here, which probably is what I would do, or just jump power here as the engine's running. Either one of those seems to be about equally easy because I have a vacuum pump already set up for these type of tests. Maybe I should do it both ways for the video's sake. I had two options of testing this. One of them involved using a tool of mine, a vacuum pump, and I just realized my vacuum pump was broken, so I won't be doing it that method. So I'll just be jumping voltage to here at our solenoid and see if the solenoid is capable of closing. So in order to do that, I want to know which side's positive, and obviously the flat side. There's a flat side on the connector and a rounded side. The flat side's positive. So we'll hook in my test harness. I'll get a clip to the flat side, which coincidentally is red. Maybe it's not a coincidence, but we'll run this over here to the positive side of the battery and clip it on there. And then we'll hook this other test lead I have to the negative side of the battery. And we'll start the engine and see if we can make that solenoid work. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's definitely drawing vacuum all the time. And when I click this, it starts sucking more, but it's still sucking all the time. So that's very conclusive. That's stuck open. And that'll probably solve their symptom where it dies after they fuel up, and they have trouble restarting after that also. But I'm not sure that's going to take care of all their problems, but since I couldn't duplicate it, it may be best just to solve this problem and go from there. I think the customer will be okay with that. We'll get a solenoid ordered and call the customer and get their okay. Got the new solenoid here. Now on some of these cars the solenoid can actually install backwards, so make sure you index it with the old one to make sure it's the right way. There's also an arrow on here that indicates direction of flow, so that'd be the direction vacuum would be flowing, so this side would go towards the intake. Okay, we have the new solenoid installed and the car running, and there is no vacuum coming out of it, and we'll jump a ground to it. We already have the voltage hooked up. I think you can probably hear that. If you can't hear it, trust me, the solenoid is opening and closing, whereas before it was open all the time. Now just remember that the symptom that this causes is after filling the car up at the gas station, they go to restart it and it starts one time and then dies, and they usually have a real hard time getting it to start again. If you want to financially donate to the continued production of these videos, find the donate icon on my website at www.kansascitytdi.com, and don't forget to click like and subscribe. Okay, as I'm sitting here editing this video, I realized I never explained why this scenario actually happens, why the engine dies after fueling and won't restart. Well, when your tank is empty, there's lots of vapors inside the tank, gasoline vapors, and then when you fill it up, the fuel filling up that empty space, well, it isn't empty, it's got vapors in it, shoves all those vapors into the charcoal canister. And so normally the Evap purge solenoid would be, and Josie, silent. So normally the evap purge solenoid would be off when you start the engine, and so none of those vapors would end up in the engine. But as soon as you start the engine and the evap solenoid is stuck open, it draws all those vapors from the charcoal canister into the engine, making it extremely rich, floods it out, and then it dies. And it's so flooded it won't restart. So you have to crank and crank and crank till all the vapors are out of the charcoal canister. Interesting side note, this customer was avoiding this problem by leaving the engine running as he would fill it. Couldn't imagine what that would be doing to the engine, make it extremely rich while he's filling it. But that's okay, it didn't die and he avoided the problem. So that's why this scenario happens.